Breaking news as we come on the air. Hurricane Idalia now on shore, battering northern Florida with heavy rain and sustained winds. It strengthened to a dangerous Category 4 before landfall, but weakened to a Category 1 within the last hour as it marches up the East Coast. You can see the strength of those winds. Oh my goodness. In Perry, Florida, the hurricane made landfall at 6:45 this morning just to its south in the Big Bend region near Keaton Beach. Thanks for joining us this midday. I'm Tashara Parker. The National Weather Service is calling Idalia an unprecedented event, and they are saying this because no major hurricanes on record have passed through that part of Florida. Here's where we stand right now. The storm surge is already causing flooding all along the East Coast. That's one of the biggest concerns. It's not only Florida, but also Georgia and the Carolinas that have declared states of emergency. Nationally, hundreds of flights are canceled as Tampa's airport remains closed. Meteorologist Greg Fields is tracking Idalia. Let's get over to him. And Greg, one thing for sure, we were on the air as it made landfall. Where do we stand now?
Yeah, the storm has weakened. It's moving into South Georgia right now. You can see that clearly defined eyes. It's moving north of Valdosta, just east of there. In fact, it's moving pretty quickly off to the north and northeast. It did slam on shore, as you talked about, in the Big Bend near Keaton Beach as a Category 3, a very strong Category 3 storm with those 125-mile-per-hour winds. But it's still a Category 1 hurricane. Winds now down to 85 miles per hour. So those winds are still going to do a lot of damage, destructive winds there north and northeast at 20 miles per hour. So that forward speed starting to pick up a little bit more. And you see it's about 25 miles east and northeast of Valdosta there over the southern portions of Georgia. So you see the outer bands around the center of that circulation still will cause some strong winds, some very heavy rain in those areas, starting to pull away from the Big Bend area of Florida. And as on that current track, it still may maintain that the hurricane force strength as we head towards 6 p.m. here this evening. Going to be near Savannah there in Georgia, and then get out toward Charleston, South Carolina before moving out into the Atlantic, still maybe holding on to that hurricane force strength with those 75-mile-per-hour winds. That's going to be around midnight tonight, and then it eventually gets out into the Atlantic, and we'll be watching it as we head into the weekend as it continues to weaken, though, but moving back out over the open waters of the Atlantic as we head toward Friday on into the upcoming weekend. Now, we are looking at the heavy rain, the wind associated with this. You can see a large swath of about 6 to 10 inches of rain you see from South Georgia all the way up into the Carolinas there. So it's going to cause some flooding. The forward speed, though, will take it out to a sea here eventually as we head toward midnight. But flooding going to be a big concern along with the wind threat with this storm as well. So we will continue to watch. The warnings are still up along the west coast of Florida. And you see how far these tropical storm warnings do extend all the way up through the Carolinas. Still that hurricane warning there for the portions of Georgia into South Carolina, but those warnings, tropical storm warnings, extending all the way up through the outer banks of the Carolinas. So we'll also have to deal with that tornado threat, those isolated tornadoes. We'll talk more about that along with the wind and on the track of that storm. So we'll have more on it for us coming up here in just a little bit.